All right, welcome back. Now, I'm going to try to keep this short. I'm going to try my best to keep this short. But I had to get on here and deal with this just to get it off my chest. I've been on this channel now for I think going on 7 years. At the beginning of each year, it starts off the same. Every year starts off the same. There's a cascade of attacks. Just a avalanche of dog attacks. There's something about January. Y'all notice that? Every January, it starts off strong. And the reports are the same. Each report, same thing, over and over. It never changes. In each attack, it's unprovoked. Somebody minding their business was attacked. Somebody's child playing, attacked. Getting out of a car, attacked. Waiting on a bus, attacked. Riding their bike, whatever. Dog sees them, attacks. We go over the police officers who shoot dogs. Every story is the same. The cop is doing his job. He's doing whatever he's doing. One thing he's not doing is provoking dogs. Cops not going around provoking dogs. But we hear these reports all the time. Cops here, cops there. It's every week in the news. But according to statistics, it happens every day. Cops shoot dogs in this country every single day. And the reports are always the same. It's unprovoked. You hear about mail carriers being attacked all the time. One of the most attacked demographics, mail carriers. Every time it's unprovoked. You know it's unprovoked with a mail carrier. You know they're just doing their job. And they're being attacked like crazy all the time. We've heard stories about electrical workers, plumbers, other workers that have to travel and move out into other people's properties. We've heard about these people being attacked. They're all unprovoked. Sometimes we catch these attacks on camera and we see with our own two eyes that they're unprovoked. Every single one. We've never seen one where a dog was provoked, no matter who was attacked, adult or child. Yet somehow, when you ask the experts, when you try to get the expert opinion on why dogs love to attack kids, it's a genuine question, because we see how these dogs will lay eyes on a child and then attack. Many people have seen this. Many people have shared their stories in the reports that I share on this channel. Unprovoked. So people genuinely want to know from the experts, why do they do this? Why do they just see a child and try to kill them? What's going on here? And every single time the expert answers that question, the expert twists it into the dog being provoked by the child. So somehow in this alternate universe, Everybody is attacked unprovoked except for kids. The cops, unprovoked. Mailmen, unprovoked. Electrical workers, unprovoked. Everybody's being attacked. It's all unprovoked. But with the kids, all of those are provoked. The dogs have done nothing. This is a scary world to live in. If you're a child, this is a scary world. And I'm an adult telling you that. And you know I'm dead serious. Now listen to this. Expert right here. Bless you with his knowledge. Now you see the title of this video. This guy almost has 1 million subscribers, and which is very scary because I suspect this guy is a meth head, that he has other medical issues, and that he's just in general a lunatic. But what do I know, right? I'm not an expert. You see the title. My dog doesn't like kids. Why is my dog aggressive towards kids? People, this is a real question because people in the real world see this with their own eyes. And they're like, what's going on here? Dog just attacked my child. What is this? So here comes the expert to answer that question for you.
Today I'm going to go over something very important. What to do if your dog is unsure of kids, or if you're bringing a dog in to a kid world, or vice versa. So I have a challenge for you while I take this sip of coffee. Really quickly, tell me the breed of dog that you guys have in the comments below and like this video.
Okay. So before we get started, I suspect that most of these people are full of themselves. They're full of ego, and it's all about them being praised or looking for praise. So it's nothing for them to co-sign with stuff that doesn't make sense. They're not going to criticize it. Long as it's just a line of rhetoric that they can regurgitate and feel like a superhuman, they don't care. I'm sorry, but I digress. Listen to this.
Thank you. So as you guys know, no bad dogs. The first thing I always like to do.
So he starts off, he says, no bad dogs. So right off the bat, he says, dogs are innocent. Well, before we get started, before I answer your question of why dogs hate kids, you've seen dogs attack kids just as soon as they see them. You want to know why? Okay, let's start off by admitting and acknowledging that there are no bad dogs. What? You could not be more overt with brainwashery, with, hey, let me set you up to be brainwashed. It's like, hey, I'm about to lay some propaganda on you, some BS on you. That's basically like telling them up front that you're about to run game, run a con on them. But that is how confident these people are in the airheadedness of their audience. No bad dogs. Here these people seeing dogs attack kids on sight. And you the expert and get up and say no bad dogs. Let's just understand that from the door. There are no bad dogs. Boy, oh boy. Oh man. Let me not say what I was thinking.
You guys know, no bad dogs. The first thing I always like to do when I'm working with dogs is think about in the dog's point of view. What is the dog viewing in this situation? That's the best way to understand why they're doing the things that they're doing. Think about it. If you have a dog that's underexposed, not exposed to kids at all, think about what it is to them. Fast, high-pitched little humans running around, sticking their hands out, very unpredictable behavior. It could definitely freak a dog out that's not exposed to kids. So as your dog's looking at these little aliens running around going, what the heck is this?
Now, did you notice how he turned this simple question into a case of your children behaving in a mannish, intrusive way, in an uncivilized manner? Did you notice that? You probably witnessed a dog attack your child or try to, like everybody else have, because that's what dogs do. I've seen the attacks. I'm one of the few people who look for them. So most likely I've seen far more attacks than you. They see them, they attack. So these people ask you, why do these things do that? And you twist that into your child running like a crazy person, screaming. What did he say? Poking their hands out? What? Sticking their hands out? I did not tell you that my child was running and screaming and sticking his or her hands out. What are you talking about? Goofball? What is this dude talking about?
View. What does the dog know? No bad dog.
So the first thing he want to do is look at it from the dog's point of view, and then he assumes that your child is misbehaving, acting crazy, screaming. What did he say?
Think about in the dog's point of view. What is the dog viewing in this situation? That's the best way to understand why they're doing the things that they're doing. Think about it. If you have a dog that's underexposed, not exposed to kids at all, think about what it is to them. Fast, high-pitched little humans running around, sticking their hands out, very unpredictable behavior.
Unpredictable. Sticking their hands out, running around. No, that's dogs. That's puppies. That's their kind. They're the ones that constantly, nonstop running in circles, running around, making noises, jumping around, pouncing on people, violating people. And again, why did he just assume? Why did he make that assumption? No, you're not allowed to make that assumption, dude. Just answer the question. He doesn't want to answer that question because he would have to admit that dogs simply love to maul kids. He'd have to admit that. And that is the truth. They're not nervous. They're not scared of kids. They immediately know that kids are weak, that they won't fight back. They can't fight back. They're harmless. That's why they attack them. Just like that's the reason they attack small dogs on sight. This is especially true if you got a large, vicious dog, especially a bully breed. You liars. A bunch of disgusting liars. This is why I go after you trainers and you. It is so criminal. This is criminal. So you heard this con artist try to con you.
It could definitely freak a dog out that's not exposed to kids. So as your dog's looking at these little aliens running around going, what the heck is this? The best thing to do is just teach the kids how to approach a dog safely and respectfully.
So now he's going to get into coaching you on how to teach your kid to approach a dog safely and respectfully. What he's talking about doesn't even fit the title of his video. This is not the question that you were asked. Nobody said anything about their child being disrespectful or not approaching the dog properly. What are you talking about? In each case, they're so-called experts. They have to twist it into a case of the child bringing the attack onto themselves.
Is this the best thing to do is just teach the kids.
What? Here you saw a dog lay eyes on your child and attack. And he says, well, the best thing you can do is teach the kids. Dude, kid didn't even approach the dog. What are you talking about? He just assumes your child approached the dog in the wrong way.
How to approach a dog safely and respectfully. Don't do what everyone tells their kids to do.
Oh my goodness. So, this is your expert. And no, nutters. This is your expert. This guy almost got 1 million subscribers. If I didn't know, I would assume that this guy was a drug addict. He strikes me as a drug addict. Like he munches on mushrooms, meth, and all kinds of things. Cocaine and all of that. This is your expert saying stuff like this? Okay, maybe he's just crazy. Right? Maybe he's just a lone crazy trainer. Right? Now here's an older lady. She doesn't have a bully breed. It's a, I don't know, some type of sheep mutt. She has a semi-smile. She doesn't seem, like the rough around the edges type. Look at the title of her video. What to do when dog growls at child. Okay, now that's very simple, isn't it? That's very simple. Dog sees a child, growls. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Let's hear it from her.
The first of our Ask Mountain Hooves and Paws series. I decided to take a question that we had from a while back, and I'll just read you the question. Okay, this is from somebody who had taken some lessons with us, and they just were interested in getting some feedback about a new development. A concern that's come up since training is our dog's behavior around children. We had our dog near a 2-year-old nephew, and the dog initially growled. He hasn't done that to adults before, and wanted to stay near me. We, of course, kept him on a leash walking around the house while my nephew was around. He also kind of nipped at the back of his shirt as the nephew walked by the dog. The dog acted the same way near another family friend's child. I don't know if it's because our dog hasn't seen someone at his level before, or if their movements are too fast for him, or maybe he was nervous because he was abused by children when he was younger, and this is an adopted shelter dog. What are your thoughts? We are very careful and, of course, want him to be comfortable around children.
That question was clear. She gave a crystal clear description of what happened. She said when she brought the child into the presence of the dog, or brought the dog into the presence of the child, she said the dog initially growled. And she said the dog wanted to stay near her.
I'll just read you the question. Okay, this is from about a new development. A concern that's come up since training is our dog's behavior around children. We had our dog near a 2-year-old nephew.
Had our dog near their nephew. So they brought the dog into the presence of the child, I assume.
And the dog initially growled.
And the dog growled. Okay? Okay? Take this. This is the story she's giving you.
He hasn't done that to adults before.
It hasn't done that to adults. So this assumes that the child didn't do anything different than what the adults done. So the woman is saying that the dog shouldn't have growled at the child since it didn't growl at the adults. If the child would have smacked the dog and then it growled, she wouldn't even write you the letter. She'd know why it growled. But she's confused because her child ain't done nothing. Okay, now let's continue.
And wanted to stay near me.
The dog wanted to stay near her.
We, of course, kept him on a leash walking around the house while my nephew was around. He also kind of nipped at the back of his shirt as the nephew walked by the dog.
The nephew, the 2-year-old, walked by the dog, and the dog nipped at the 2-year-old. She said the child walked by the dog. She didn't say the child did anything to the dog at all.
The dog acted the same way near another family friend's child.
The dog acted the same way near another child. So this dog sees kids, growls, wants to attack them, tries to attack them. This sounds like a dangerous dog. And if somebody wrote this letter to me, I would tell them, get rid of that dog. For it attacked somebody's child. What are you writing me this letter for? What are you, stupid? You writing me asking me what to do? A dog tries to chomp your 2-year-old child? You asking me what you supposed to do? What is wrong with people? This is what I'm saying. What is wrong with people these days? Ain't got no sense at all. You're zoinked out lunatics. Okay, now follow the story now. I don't want to lose track. She said that this same dog reacted the same way with somebody else's child.
The dog acted the same way near another family friend's child. I don't know if it's because our dog hasn't seen someone at his level before.
See? This woman is like, why is the dog trying to attack the child? Child hasn't done anything that the adult didn't do. So is it because the child is small? That's literally what she asked.
Or if their movements are too fast for him.
Movements too fast. Nobody moves faster than a dog. Stop with this talking about kids like they moved at the speed of light. Shut up with that, man. People talk like kids just zip across the floor like lightning. What y'all talking about? These goofy mutts move faster than them. Come at me, you move too fast. Put no speed limit on how fast our kids move or walk. They think dogs that special and important, don't they? You move too fast. You deserve to get mauled. Now, let me stop. I talk too much. Okay, listen to this woman.
This child. I don't know if it's because our dog hasn't seen someone at his level before, or if their movements are too fast for him, or maybe he was nervous because he was abused by children when he was younger. And this is...
Maybe the dog is nervous because it was abused by children when it was younger. So if all else fails, they'll fall back onto that for comfort, to comfort their ego and make them feel good about being a nutter. It was probably abused by a child, that's why.
An adopted shelter dog. What are your thoughts? We are very careful and, of course, want him to be comfortable around children.
You want the dog to be comfortable around children? The dog, huh? Okay.
So, in answer to that question, the first thing that we want to tell everybody, and I think most of you guys know this, but it's good just to really think about it from the dog's perspective. Kids are really scary. They're
So just like that other guy, she started off by saying, let's look at it from the dog's perspective. Then she says, kids are very scary. No, they're not. And that's exactly why that dog tried to attack that 2-year-old, because it wasn't scared of the 2-year-old. This narrative that these dogs are terrified of kids, what basis of reality are you hooking that to? I don't get that. Kids are scary? No, they're not. And why would you assume that? Scary how? Let's allow her to explain. Scary how?
know this, but it's good just to really think about it from the dog's perspective. Kids are really scary. They're unpredictable. They don't necessarily listen to the dogs and what the dogs are saying in a subtle way. They tend to push into the dog's space, which in the dog world, that's...
Do you see that? Did y'all hear this? Do you see how they all do the same thing? They all automatically assume that your child was doing something scary, pushing into the dog's space, not listening.
Actually quite rude to come directly into the space. Usually it's more slow and at a curve. And then they're erratic. They sort of all of a sudden stop and start, and they make...
She's talking about kids still, not dogs. She said kids are erratic. They stop and start. Stop and start. This is crazy. This is nuts.
Loud noises, so...
Make loud noises, huh? Do y'all see this? This woman right here is just as offensive and ridiculous as the previous nutter. And she is equally as vile and dangerous. This is very dangerous. This is not a joke. This is dangerous. When you got the so-called experts out here pushing this narrative, and they all push the exact same narrative. Why is she assuming misbehavior on the part of a child in response to this specific question? Where this woman articulated to you, the child did nothing. Nothing. And you assume all of this misbehavior?
To that question, the first thing that we want to tell everybody, and I think most of you guys know this, but it's good just to really think about it from the dog's perspective. Kids are really scary. They're unpredictable. They don't necessarily listen to the dogs and what the dogs are saying in a subtle way. They tend to push into the dog's space, which in the dog world, that's actually quite rude to come directly into the space. Usually it's more slow and at a curve. And then they're erratic. They sort of all of a sudden stop and start, and they make loud noises. So just, thinking about your dog's perspective, it's kids are a little weird and a little intimidating. So what most likely, before we get into some ideas about what to do, what most likely happened here is the dog in this situation with the nephew, the dog most likely gave some calming signals. And these are...
She said the dog most likely gave some calming signals.
Signals that the dogs give to politely ask others to maybe slow down a little.
These are the signals the dog gives others to ask them to slow down a little.
Or stop what they're doing.
Stop what they're doing. she is again assuming that the child was doing something. Yet this lady in this letter clearly articulated the situation. If the child had been doing something to this particular dog, she would have said it. She said that she brought the child around the dog. The dog growled at the child. She said the child walked past the dog and the dog tried to bite the child. And she said the dog growled at somebody else's child as well. She didn't say her kids went up and slapped it or did something to it, pulling on its ear. Why do all of you nutters assume that? Because you're nothing but Google expert nutters. You all read the same goofy Google articles and regurgitate it because you're a bunch of fraudulent goofballs. This is not a real profession. The trainer, behaviorist, this is a fraudulent profession. And if you want to make a complete fool out of yourself, be a dog trainer. Be a dog behaviorist. I will give this so-called profession 10 more years. 10 more years, you'll be respected by most people in the general population. But after that, I'm telling you, it's downhill from here. Y'all cannot recover from this. I'm saying I've gone over hundreds by now of articles, your own websites, your own writings, where you've pushed this narrative. And it's pathetic. So just like that other guy, she spun this scenario into a case of the child manipulating, harassing, bothering the dog, violating the dog, even though the person said nothing like that. You understand? These so-called trainers, behaviorists, they have to do that. They have to take the blame off the dog. They have to blame someone else. When you ask about a dog's behavior and that behavior has to do with aggression, you're going to get a lie for an answer. Whatever the answer is, it's going to be a lie. It don't matter if it has to do with a person or a child. But this is especially troubling because they're talking about children, and children are the primary targets for dog attack. Dogs prefer to attack children. Over 50% of all attack victims are children. So this is a little more serious. So I expect to hear the truth from the experts. When we ask, why is this happening? That's one of the most important questions that you could possibly answer. Behaviorists, trainers, y'all supposed to be well prepared for this question. The only people out here who can give them a truthful answer is us. But they don't want to hear what we have to tell them, because we're going to tell them the truth. Well, it is because that thing is a predator. It gets off on killing, attacking. Read the news. They're always killing for fun. And guess what? They're the only animals in the news constantly for killing for fun. Go through, kill livestock, just kill, 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 kill. Attack people, just attack, 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 attack. They're not hungry. They do it for pleasure. Now, this is even on a chemical level with bully breeds. When bully breeds attack, their brain releases chemicals that makes them feel good. And they can't stop attacking. It's like crack to a crackhead. They can't stop. They can't get enough. Dogs love to hurt and kill. That's why. And the reason why they target your kids, why your kids are victims of the dog's aggression, is because the dog knows your kids are weak, vulnerable, easy prey, won't fight back, can't fight back. As soon as these mutts lay eyes on them, see, they're just intelligent enough to know that much. When there's a physically inferior or superior being in front of them. That's why. And all this training that y'all go over, all you're doing is trying to train the dog away from its natural instincts. You're not trying to fix something that's supposed to be fixed. You're not trying to correct something that's wrong with these dogs. You're trying to take these dogs away from their natural selves.
The very beginning of what we do.
Now, this is titled How to Fix Child Aggression in Dogs. Listen to what this guy says.
Aggression. The first thing we always focus on with aggression is focus. Teaching the dog how to focus on the owner. Now, this is important. A lot of now this dog, we love him. So as I say this, it's not that I want to speak disparagingly about the dog, but he's got a bite history. He's bit a few kids. We've seen him be aggressive towards dogs. People.
I got you. Did y'all catch that? Catch what he said just then?
Now, this is important. The first thing we always focus on with aggression is focus.
First thing they focus on with aggression is focus.
Teaching the dog how to focus on the owner.
Teach the dog how to focus on the owner.
Now, this is important. A lot of now this dog, we love him. So as I say this, it's not that I want to speak disparagingly about the dog. But
you heard what he said? He said, as I say this,
dog, we love him. So as
we love him. So
I say this, it's not that.
So as I say this,
I want to speak disparagingly about the dog.
It's not because I want to speak disparagingly about the dog, but it's attacked a few children.
But he's got a bite history. He's bit a few kids. We've seen him be aggressive towards dogs.
Okay, this mutt has tried to kill a few kids. And this piece of trash sat up here and said he loves this dog. This particular dog that has attacked a few kids. He said he loves it. And they think that that's an honorable thing to do. To love a vermin like this. Just set his demonic... Oh boy. This is too much.
People, and so, fairly serious case. But we start him the way that we start most dogs, which is where we say we need you to focus. Now, why is this so important? Because a lot of people will say,
need you to focus. This dog should have been put down. You see what they do to these dogs that attack kids? You see what they do? They send them through rehab. And then rehome them. Now, if that's not demonic, what is? This creature tried to kill a few kids, and you sat up there and said, I love it. You do? You love it, huh? Okay. Tell me some more about how you think. Why don't you?
Say, well, let's work on the kid aggression. Let's get him around kids and socialize him, or let's get him around kids and do this. The reality is he doesn't think, and if your dog has aggression issues or what have you, these are dogs that don't think when they're around something that causes them stress. They simply react. And
see what he said? He said, dogs like this don't think when they're around something that causes them stress.
These are dogs that don't think when they're around something that causes them stress.
When they're around something that causes them. So he's assuming the kids causes this dog stress.
They simply react and they act foolish. And so the first thing that we need to do is teach them, the skill set of how to think through stress. There we go. Good point.
How to think through stress. What he's saying is, what he really means to say is that he's trying to train the dog to not want to maul kids. That's literally what he's trying to train the dog to do, what he's training to do. He's trying to train it to not want to attack kids. Kids don't cause this dog stress. The sight of kids makes this dog want to kill them. Are y'all so dumb and goofy you can't say that obvious reality? This is obvious fact. Why are you so reluctant to say it just like that? Why are so many of you so big of a coward that you can't even articulate simple reality? You're trying to teach the dog to not want to attack kids. Tell me about no stress.
Boy. And so we will apply stress. Now we apply it in a way that is
so disgusting. This dog should be dead right now. Should be dead. They said this thing has attacked a few kids. So this thing is just attacking kids on sight. And they want to send it through some rehab. And do you know what they do as rehab? They'll bring kids around it and then give the dog treats. Then they'll make the kids leave. And they won't give the dog any treats. Kids come back, they give it treats. They do that over and over until the dog associates the presence of children with treats, with food. Until when it sees kids, it looks around for food. What if there is no food? What if, rather than look around for food, it just decided to attack? But they tried. They sent it through rehab. You can't make this up. One of these trainers actually said that, actually admitted that that's all they do. When they try to teach a dog to not want to attack kids, they give the dog treats when kids are around. That's it. Is that reliable? Is there a guarantee that the dog won't attack one day rather than look around for food? Is that possible? Or is that impossible? Since you've, done this 100 times and now the dog, when it sees kids, rather than wanting to attack them, looks around for a treat. Can you guarantee that it'll always look around for a treat? And what if it doesn't get a treat? Then what? Dangerous and irresponsible should be illegal. And it makes these dog trainers come across as demonic. They're the agents that are supposed to be the ones who tell the people the truth. But that would cost them their profession. And they'd have to be something else. Well, you know what? Be something else. Be an anti-dog trainer. Huh? What a sick world we live in, where they make celebrities out of dogs. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this brief live stream. I tried to be brief, but that usually doesn't happen. 45 minutes is not that brief. Able to join me, and I hope to see you all back here on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.